Good afternoon and welcome to the Caribbean Running Show. Right now we are being joined by Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, who represents the United States Virgin Islands. Thank you for joining us, Congresswoman Plaskett, and I'm just going to give you the floor to share any official updates regarding the U.S. Virgin Islands, recovery efforts, etc., in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma.
Well, thank you so much. And first, thank you to your listeners, and thank you to fellow Virgin Islanders and fellow Caribbean people who have been tremendous during the recovery efforts and during this ordeal. First, just to give people the ground, lay the groundwork for what happened in the U.S. Virgin Islands. We knew that Hurricane Irma was coming. We had been in preparations for practically a week. Virgin Islanders have gotten, of course, being in the Caribbean, very good in preparation for these types of crises. We have been through Hurricane Hugo in '89, Maryland in '95, and so, most of our homes, our buildings are within code for a Cat 4 hurricane, which is pretty much the requirement. Unfortunately, as so many of you know, this is probably one of the most powerful hurricanes and has historically been the most powerful hurricane that's come through the Atlantic. And when Hurricane Irma hit the Virgin Islands, it dipped to the south right before it got to the islands, which meant on our north side, the island of St. Thomas and St. John were hit pretty hard. They were hit, they were maybe 20 miles, the eye of the hurricane was maybe 20 miles off the coast of the north side of St. Thomas and St. John, which meant that they were getting winds at the minimum of 150 miles per hour.
Wow.
And in some places it's believed 185 miles per hour.
Wow.
And so the islands have been devastated at this time. We know that there are some casualties. The governor announced that yesterday, but we do not know definitively the number since we are still removing debris, getting to places that we have not been, going through homes that have been destroyed. Some of our major infrastructure have been impacted by this. The hospital on St. Thomas is no longer functional. Our HVAC system went out and the roof came off of the hospital. So thankfully, those patients that were there were helicoptered and medevaced out of the hospital and brought over to St. Croix. Also brought, some were sent to San Juan, and my office worked with the governor and the Department of Health to get the waivers yesterday, which allowed all of the patients to go to the VA hospital in San Juan. They needed a waiver from the Department of Health to be able to do that. So FEMA is on the ground. They were staged there for quite some time before. They've been working with VITEMA, which is our local emergency management agency, under the directions of Director Mona Barnes, who's done a stellar job at coordinating with FEMA, with DOD, with so many agencies. 2 days ago, right before the hurricane hit, I was at FEMA headquarters with many of my staff, talking with them, strategizing, and just getting a real sense in how we can all be coordinating together. So that's what's happening on the ground. Right now, the airport on St. Thomas is still closed. It's estimated that there will not be power for a number of months on the island.
Wow.
People are,
Months.
So people are really trying, I mean, pretty much everything has been destroyed, most of the infrastructure. There are pictures of towers in the water. So we really have a colossal job to do. I would let people know that if you're concerned about family members and have not heard from them, there are 2 ways that you can find out information about them. You can go to a Facebook page because, interestingly, while many people may not have cell service, there is, in fact, internet service thanks to during the Obama administration, the ARA funding, which allowed us to put an enormous amount of fiber optics in the ground. So people are able to get Wi-Fi, and people are posting where they are and what's happening on Facebook. So we would encourage people to go to the open page is, let me see, it is USVI Hurricane Irma Alert. USVI Hurricane Irma Alert, or the Red Cross has a site. It's called safeandwell.communityos.org. safeandwell.communityos.org. That is the Red Cross Safe and Well website. It's a free public reunification tool that allows individuals and organizations to register and post messages. But as you're doing that, please go, you can also go to the Facebook page that our office created, which is USVI Hurricane Irma Alert. Additionally, here in Washington, we've been working feverishly. Our Governor Mapp was very sound in quickly getting and requesting an expedited state of emergency from the President. That went up in the evening, and the following morning the President signed that. At the same time, we were working in the House. My office was speaking with Speaker Ryan, with leadership, Kevin McCarthy, and others to ensure that the money that was going to be appropriated, a special appropriation due to Harvey, would be able to include Irma as well.
Excellent.
So the language that was passed is not specific to any particular hurricane. It gives FEMA complete discretion to disperse that money where it needs to go. The House passed it overwhelmingly, $7.8 billion. And then when it went over to the Senate side, it had an additional amount of $7.5 billion that was attached to it. So now there is a substantial amount that will take us in the immediacy of dealing with these hurricanes. And we also understand, and speaking with leadership, that other supplementals will come not far behind that. They recognize that this money is really going to be needed, and I don't think there will be that much argument here in Congress related to it. So because of the declaration, FEMA now has the ability, people have the ability to apply for assistance from FEMA and to get continuing details of the related to that triggers the release of federal funds to help people and communities in recovery. And you can go to www.disasterassistance.gov to get that information also. So we're really working, we're moving, unfortunate, and we are really in mourning for our brothers and sisters in the other Caribbean islands, the British Virgin Islands, Anguilla, Aruba, Barbuda, which have been massively hit by Hurricane Irma, had direct hits there. And coming Saturday evening is going to be Hurricane Jose.
That was a question
we're trying to brace for that.
That was the question I had.
Yeah. Right now, what they're telling us is that it's just going to be a tropical storm, because it's pretty far north, but you can never predict what's going to happen. We didn't think that the trajectory for Irma was that it was going to be south, and then an hour before it was going over the Virgin Islands, it dipped south.
Right.
So these are unpredictable things. This is nature at its best, and the modeling just gives us an ability to prepare ourselves. And, Virgin Islanders have prepared for the worst and prayed for the best. Thank God we have not had the number of casualties that we could have had with this historic hurricane. People were really prepared, sheltering individuals from the Red Cross. Volunteers came out enormously to help. In the U.S. Virgin Islands, on St. Thomas and St. John, there really has not been a lot of looting. People are really trying to do what's right and take care of things, and we're just trying to get additional supplies to them at this point.
So I have a couple of questions. I know you
have
a busy day. So I know the hospital was evacuated. Actually, I was on the phone with my aunt yesterday who lives in Sugar State, and she heard the helicopters. What do
Mm-hmm.
people who are on island now, if they need medical attention, where do they go? What should they do?
Well, you can contact VITEMA. VITEMA's there. All of the first responders are there, the EMS, so they're able to do other things and be helpful in other ways. Medical personnel is still there in the Virgin Islands. We're asking people to go to the Red Cross shelters if you're in need of medication or
Okay.
any of those types of support for assistance.
Okay.
Our office is coordinating with corporations and the Red Cross to get as much medical assistance down. And I have to tell you, our local government, the governor, the different agencies, the Department of Health are working feverishly to ensure that we need everything we need to. The Secretary of Health and Human Services, Secretary Price, issued a health emergency declaration, which waived a lot of health requirements in terms of individuals being able to support and assist. And our Department of Health, Dr. Davis, the commissioner there, is doing a yeoman's job to make sure that people are taken care of.
Excellent, excellent. Last question. There are a lot of fundraisers right now and relief efforts.
Yeah.
What can we in the diaspora do to be the most impactful at this time?
Well, I think that people need to there are a lot of GoFunds that have been started. I think that it's always safe to donate to the Red Cross. And let them know that the money is that you want the money to go to Hurricane Irma in the Virgin Islands. The Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands, which is a 501c3 organization that's been in existence for 25 years, just yesterday started a fund. It's called Fund for the Virgin Islands, and you can find that on PayPal. You can also go to their website, which is cfvi.net. and /donate and look for Fund for the VI or FFVI, and you can make donations at that time as well. I know that there have been conference calls with Virgin Islands associations in different areas. I really tell people, if you're interested, to call the presidents of those organizations. You can also call our office, which is 202-225-1790, and we can connect you as well.
Okay. Well, Congresswoman Plaskett, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day.
Thank you. And can I say something as well? I just
Sure.
want to really thank so many people who have called our office and expressed their support, who've just been fantastic, all the prayers, all the requests for donations. We've had doctors, nurses, electricians, Virgin Islanders living all over the country who are willing and able to help. Just understand that this is a long haul. This is going to be going on for quite some time, and so your assistance we may not get to you right now, but your assistance is going to be needed in the aftermath. We are always going to be stronger. Listen, we live in paradise, and God's rejuvenation is always there, and we will be rejuvenated and be more beautiful and more flourishing after this. And I want to thank the volunteers who've come to my office and given their time to be available to answer phone calls. My staff, which is amazing, has been in this office 24/7, taking calls and responses and directing people. And, we're raring to go. We're a little tired, frazzled around the edges, but we understand that this is about our people and our future, and we're willing to do the work.